What's up everybody, this is Ven, and I'm welcoming you to the MOC Spotlight, where we take apart what you build. For today's episode, we'll be taking a look at the red dragon, created and posted on our message boards by username Poharu. Before we get started on Smog here, let's go over my method of reviewing, which involves a point system that is based on 3 fundamental attributes: the overall appearance of the MOC, the build of the MOC itself, and the concept and ideas behind the MOC's creation. Each quality will mount up to 5 points, leading up to a final score that will be determined at the end of the episode. And please remember that this is all based on my opinion. So let's get this started. Why am I getting a sudden burst of nostalgia? As if I had seen this dragon before, or at least something that kind of looks like it. Nonetheless, this is a pretty neat dragon we have here, colors consisting of extreme amounts of red with a bit of tan and black. Looks pretty good, but I think it could use a little bit of more tan in the torso. I think that would balance it out a bit more. I also kind of take issue with the texture of this dragon. As you might have noticed, this creation utilizes a variety of Lego parts with a variety of different textures. Like we have the smooth, gappy portions of CCBS parts, mixed with the rough solidity of Technic parts, and then there's patches of system here and there that are most obvious to see on the head. The head's got a pretty good shape to it, but the clashing of the aesthetics up here kinda bug me. The system parts make it look blocky in some areas, and then it's all smooth and curved in other areas. It looks really off and kind of unnatural, and I think sticking to just one medium up here would make it a lot more forgivable. Doesn't look bad though, but it's a bit of a rough job. Going lower down on the MOC, I maintain my stance in the whole rough thing. I'm really not digging this neck. It's gappy and it just looks really awkward. The torso, or abdomen I guess, looks okay. It's solid and round, but also looks a bit on the rough side. Well, I guess I can't really ding this MOC for inconsistency if everything's rough, am I right? The legs look pretty good. Nice and solid, and all heavily detailed. Jeez, a lot of detail. But I have a problem with whatever's on the back of the feet here, like all this unnecessary kibble, I guess. But, you know, nothing too bad, just looks a little off to me. Now, the tail and the wings might just be the selling points of the MOC for me. The wings have some really good shaping, and they look so proper. I don't know what it is. And the tail? Well, friggin' done. The end of the tail looks a little odd, but the whole design itself, pretty solid. I gotta say, proportionally, this dragon's a little bit funny looking, with this long neck and big head, and then this smallish body with these tiny legs, and the long tail, and the medium-sized wings, I guess. I definitely think something should have been resized though. And it's not that it's bad really, it's just that I feel like it could be better. Overall, it's a pretty decent looking dragon. It looks a little awkward here and there, but it's definitely not a bad job. I do take issue with some aspects of the build, however. Like, okay, I'll say this. The MOC can definitely stand upright, and it looks pretty solid in regards to stability. But I do have a problem with the usage of parts. And I don't mean that like, oh, this guy didn't know what he was doing with his Legos, you know, and he was building Lego wrong. He was doing all this entire thing wrong. Nah. But what I actually want to comment on is that the builder probably should have just stuck to using CCBS or Bionicle for the medium, because I don't know, I'm just not feeling the system here. I don't think he should have used system as much as he did. Like, okay, I can forgive a few details, like say the teeth. Oh, okay, you want to make the teeth out of system, fine. You know, little details like that. Oh, you want to make system eyes, oh fine, make your system eyes. Jeez, I sound like a total dork right now. But anyway, since the majority of the MOC is made out of CCBS, it doesn't really fit that aesthetic all too well. It just kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. Okay, maybe not that bad, but it sticks out awkwardly. And I believe it's pretty feasible to just replace all of these system portions with CCBS or Technic parts quite easily. And as I mentioned earlier, some portions, okay, really just the neck, is really gappy. Like, this is a kind of a weird bit of construction here. The tail doesn't have this problem, and yet it kind of serves the same purpose. Okay, not really. It's not holding up like this big head or anything on the other end. But I do think that the neck should have been built in uniform with the tail. It would have looked better, and we would have gotten like a little bit of a sense of flow having that same design travel all the way from the head down to the tail. I think that would look pretty neat. So in the end, we have a solid build, but we also lack functionality, and we have a good bit of missed opportunity, I feel, to make this MOC look good. In my other videos, you guys might hear me say something like, oh, the builder has a creative usage of parts or something like that. Well, here's an example of a not so creative usage of parts in my book. Not that the builder isn't creative at all, but it just could have done a better job. Oh, and I take back what I said about functionality. I guess you can just flap these wings. That counts as a function, right? Being able to flap them or open and close them. That counts. Another plus for you, Poharu. Now, in regards to the concept, the big idea behind this MOC is that it's supposed to be a red dragon. I mean, nothing all too crazy, just a red dragon, mythological creature that could be interpreted in like any design, really. And since the appearance of a dragon is like so broad, I can't ding this MOC because of the proportions all too much, because for all I know, maybe if a dragon existed in real life, it would look exactly like this. Heck, it might even have the gappy neck, even though it doesn't look all that great. But you know what I mean? You know what I mean. So keeping that in mind, I can already say that the goal was pretty well achieved. We do have a red dragon. It's easily identifiable as a dragon. I looked at it once and I instantly just knew that I was looking at a dragon. It's got all the popular characteristics, the spikiness, the breathing fire and the wings, and oftentimes you'll see a dragon walking on all fours, and boom, here it is walking on all fours. See, this is a dragon, long tail and all. But even though I say that the goal has been achieved to, you know, make a red dragon, the one key phrase still comes to mind: untapped potential. This MOC has a good bit of it. It's not the worst case, because it's definitely a really creative MOC. I mean, I didn't mention this earlier, but it's completely custom, and that's a big plus right there. I do still wish that the builder just stuck to CCBS and just focused on working with that and Technic and seeing where he went from there, because I can almost guarantee that if he did, this MOC would look a lot better, at least in my eyes. I don't know, maybe you guys think it's fine, but I'm not a big fan of the system. I'm really not. And you know, I could probably rant about that all day, but I'm not. I'm just gonna move on to the scores and get this all wrapped up with. So let's move along, shall we? In terms of appearance, this MOC receives a 3.5 out of 5. A little bit better than okay. I think it's really impressive. I mean, you don't see too many good-looking dragons out there made of Bionicle or CCBS elements. At least I don't. So this is a pretty decent effort. I do take issue with a couple of aspects. You know, it does look a little awkward here and there, and they do take away from the design of the MOC for me, because I feel like a lot of these flaws just could have been easily avoided. And in terms of the build, this MOC receives a 4 out of 5. It's a solid build in that the MOC is kept standing upright all the time. Well, not standing upright, but you know, standing on all fours without falling apart or anything. And it is a pretty big custom build, so we definitely got to take that into account. And there's also a little bit of functionality with the wings and basic range of articulation. But I really think that the builder should have avoided using system parts in this build. I think he should have gotten a bit more creative with the medium that he was already working with the most, and that was CCBS and Technic. I feel like he should have stuck with that, and it would have made the MOC look a lot better, and who knows, maybe I might have been a bit more impressed with the build in general. And in terms of the concept, this MOC receives a 4 out of 5. It's not all too often I've come across a good-looking dragon MOC. In my experience, it's been a bit challenging just to get it right. You know, make something that's convincing as a dragon, and this MOC accomplishes that. This MOC already came across as a dragon the second I laid eyes on it. It looks to be deservingly called a fire dragon, being all red and having the little flames pop out here and there. You know, it's a pretty decent looking dragon, but I do have some issues with its design, and that does go hand in hand with the concept, because as I mentioned earlier, I do see a lot of room for improvement. You know, there is potential for this MOC to have been much better, but nonetheless, the goal was well achieved, and you know, I gotta give credit where credit is due. And so that leaves us with a final score, and that final score is 11.5 out of 15. Great job, Poharu. You did a pretty decent job with this MOC. I do think it could be a lot better. You know, like I said, work more closely with CCBS and Technic. It might be a little challenging, but if that's going to be your primary medium, just stick with it and see where that gets you. But all in all, it's definitely not a bad MOC you have here. It looks pretty decent. It's interesting enough to get on the MOC Spotlight, and, I do hope to see more out of you in the future. I do hope to see more out of all you viewers in the future, so please post your own LEGO creations to the message boards at board.ttvpodcast.com. Check out the LEGO Creations category, where you are allowed to post whatever LEGO creations you got, and in return, you'll be receiving feedback from our community, and possibly even me if I decide to do a MOC Spotlight on it. So please consider that as an option for your daily routine. I don't know. Do what you want, but I hope it involves the message boards. I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.